Well, the next question that somebody had is probably along those lines, is that if you're trying to influence an unreached nation, would you lead in bringing the kingdom solutions? I imagine they mean political and social solutions, or with supernatural acts like healing and the prophetic. Or so, what would you recommend for somebody that's praying concerning a particular nation?
The miracles, the signs and wonders, is the immediate impact, the fitting into culture, society, bringing about changes in education, business, politics, that realm. That's long term, and you have to have both. Mm-hmm. But if you only have long term, that's tough. Mm-hmm. That's tough because you've got to have the immediate. People are dying now.
Yeah, people
are battling things right now, and you have to have that immediate encounter that we bring people into. They have that encounter with the Lord, where the cancer leaves, or the problem in the business gets solved, or the divorce issue gets settled, or whatever it might be. It's the fact that we're there to face impossibilities with people. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the most essential, but I don't think it's the only one. I think it's the most essential because that's how Jesus ministered.
Yeah.
Nobody was born again in his day because he hadn't died yet. So he was ministering to all different kinds of people, but he always came that way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. But I think we need to have that Daniel Joseph focus of getting into the system to bring about kingdom realization through answers and solutions. So I think it's a 1-2 punch, so to speak.
Yeah. But you'd recommend almost primarily starting with the signs and wonders at some level? And because Jesus there's that model where John the Baptist is talking to Herod about he shouldn't have married his brother's wife.
Yeah.
John gets killed for that.
That worked out well.
Yeah, totally. But Jesus didn't seem to enter into that public, that political
That's a good point.
Debate at that point. But he was moving and freeing the captives and transforming minds and hearts. And
it's really bizarre to look at what Jesus didn't say and what he didn't teach. Mm-hmm. I mean,
at a time when they're experiencing occupation by Rome and they're looking for a revolutionary leader, and he's
slavery, all these issues. It wasn't that he avoided them, as that he took care of the issues that would take care of them if people embrace him. So anyway, I think that's the absolute best way. In fact, all we have to do is look at the present day testimony in various places around the world. I have a whole line of family members that are missionaries in various parts of the world that are very, very tough, very dark, and none of them have breakthrough unless there's miracles. Wow. I mean, they can be there for years and years and years with 1, 2, 3 converts, but as soon as the Spirit of God shows up in power, then it increases the animosity, the conflict, but it brings about such dramatic fruit. I don't think there's any dark place in the world where there's a real move of God without miracles.
Wow.
Yeah. By miracles, I mean not just healing. It can be the deliverance. It can be sometimes dealing with nature. Sometimes it's family issues. Sometimes it's the fact that a person has a dream, where Jesus shows up in their dream. I mean, that's a miraculous supernatural event, and all of that's necessary. Absolutely. And I think we as the people of God get into these cities, these nations, into people's lives, we actually, in a sense, almost open the door for the supernatural to invade into their world. Mm-hmm. So, and
things begin to happen that we didn't even plan for.
Exactly. We're not even directly involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, it sounds weird to say, but we actually attracted the favor of the Lord. It's that Ephesians 4:29 passage where speak encouraging words that you give grace. Grace comes from God, but you give it by choosing who to encourage. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the Lord adds his favor on where you put favor. And so whenever we go into places, it's almost like what Jesus said, whoever you forgive, I forgive. He's saying, where you extend favor, I'm going to support that, and I'm going to send favor. So we have these households, these businesses or cities, nations, whatever, where we go and we say, you know what, we're extending our favor. Mm-hmm. And the Lord says, good choice. And he extends favor. And then the things happen that we're not directly involved in. Yeah. It's incredible.
One of the things that I love about what the message the Lord's laid on us is that we get out of these either or kind of boxes all the time. We have the immediate, but we also have the long term.
Yes.
The 100-year vision we've talked about before. And Chris has that powerful metaphor of, in the time of horses, nobody was thinking about cars, and there's a whole infrastructure that has to be built in order to do that. And I think with the church and the school, sometimes we are able to kind of say, like, the immediate supernatural is key, and also let's plan. We're going to be here a long time. Bring the kingdom. Hit those mind molders, transform them. And so, what I love is we hold both of them as really valuable as well. And you had an interesting thing. I just heard you a couple days ago talk about that, the role of teaching. Sometimes we've allowed teaching of that education deal to be distinct from a life of miracles.
Yes.
And that you were making the point that that the teacher needs to be embracing a life of miracles as well.
Exactly.
And hopefully that's what we're doing too, is the one who goes in to change the structures of the society is embracing a life of miracles as well.
That's it right there. That's the part that gets missing as we get the miracle camp and we get the strategist for transformation of society, which is essential.
Yeah.
But they should both be doing the same,
Absolutely.
The on the street people, that bring about the miracles, they've got to be thinking of long term too.
Absolutely.
Because some things can only be one long term and vice versa. So I agree completely. That passage that I was teaching on that you made reference to is where in John 3, where Nicodemus comes to Jesus and says, "We know you're a teacher come from God, because no one can do these signs that you do." And so Jesus was the model teacher that followed up with the miraculous or taught after the miracle to explain, So it's the combination.
Absolutely. The do and teach. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.